Hello, students. So before we move into our lesson, do it now. So today's do it now is go back to your original packet, page 17, and sum number 5. So I would like you to pause this video and complete and solve this problem. And then look for the solution since it's synchronous on video, so will be that's basically if you want to learn, pause this video, do it by yourself, and then see my solution. Okay, so to solve it, if you see, if each quadrilateral below is a rhombus, so once you have four sides, they are quadrilateral, and the special one of the special kind of quadrilaterals are rhombus. So once you see this a measure, find measure HGI. So look for H, G, and I. Okay. So what do you see is they asked us to find this angle. So what can you do? So obviously, if you look at it, you see according to the properties of rhombus, what do you see? This guy, if this guy is x, this guy has to be x. If this guy is x, this has to be x2. That means this angle has to be congruent to this. Okay, and you know why? Because the diagonal bisect the angles. So you can tell that this angle 4x plus 3 is congruent to this, and this angle congruent to this. So since you need to find out HGI, so you can tell that this HGI is 4x plus 3. All right? Okay. So, and now if you have this angle, what's the use? You know that diagonal intersect each other perpendicularly, so you get another 90 degree. All right, so since you need to find out this angle, you need the value of x. So what do you need to do? If you can find out this angle, then you can form up equation to know this unknown. Am I right? So how can you do that? If you look at it, you see the reason why you could say this guy is congruent to this guy. You can say this angle is congruent to this angle, and this angle is congruent to this angle, so this angle is congruent to this angle. Okay, so 7x minus 1 is, let me make it a little different. Okay, so this angle is has to be 7x minus 1. So now you got it. You got a right angle triangle here. You have all these three angles. So if you draw it outside and separate one, how does it look like? You have a 90 here, so that 90 plus you have this angle here, that's 4x plus 3. All right, and now you get this angle is 7x minus 1. So you can form up an equation, this plus 7x minus 1 is equal to 180, triangle sum theorem. Or someone can write only 4x plus 3, 7x minus 1 equal 90, because this 90 will be subtracted. Now solve your equation and get x. Once you get x, okay, plug in your x with HGI, I mean 4x plus 3. So find out what is 4x plus 3 equal. Okay, so that will be your answer. Okay, and do it now. Okay, so let's to move forward. Let's go to your packet, um, page number 19. Page number 19 should be here. So we'll be learning. Our learning objective is today is how can we apply the properties of trapezoid, um, which is a special kind of parallelogram. Uh, so you'll be applying the properties of trapezoid to find out the missing angles. Okay. So before that, let's see what are a trapezoid. A trapezoid is a special kind of quadrilateral whose uh, two pairs, only one pair of the sides, the quadrilateral, so one pair, let's say here, this pair, here, this pair, one pair are parallel. So only one pair opposite sides are parallel, okay? So that's a trapezoid. So for a trapezoid, there are two different kind of trapezoid. One is non-isosceles and one is isosceles, okay? So now let's see, if you look at this figure, that's they refer as non-isosceles. What are the properties? Only one pair opposite sides are parallel, and for a isosceles, that is also one pair of parallel. But the only difference is non-parallel sides, which are usually called legs, are congruent. So if these two sides are parallel, the non-parallel over here is these two sides. They will always be congruent. If they are congruent, you'll be saying that's a isosceles trapezoid. And if you look at it, non-isosceles is when these pairs are not congruent, okay? So these pairs are not congruent. You see, this is like this like this. They could be of any size, okay? But they will never be congruent, okay? And the consecutive angles are supplementary. Once there are parallel lines, they become the transversal. So these and these is supplementary. They look like 90-degree, but they are not. It could be like this even, okay? Like this. These are two parallel. They are not congruent, okay? So, however, but still, this angle and this angle is consecutive angles, means they are supplementary, okay? Still here also, if these two parallel, these two are parallel lines, this is the transversal, so still they're consecutive. But the difference it makes is here these are the diagonals, this is the diagonals, they are not congruent. But in the isosceles, diagonals are congruent, okay? These diagonal and these diagonal are congruent. So that is a difference. Base angle, like in isosceles triangle, the angle opposite to the congruent sides are called base angle. So likewise here also, angles opposite to this congruent side, so its opposite is this, its opposite is this. These two are congruent, okay? And opposite angles are supplementary, okay? So here, these opposite angles might not be supplementary, but here this is granted that this opposite angles, this opposite, if it is x, if it is y, x plus y has to be 180-degree. If it is a, if it is b, a plus b has to be 180-degree. All right? So look at these properties and be able to differentiate what is a first. And once you look at a figure, you will see that you can make the difference, okay? But first you'll have to identify this is a trapezoid by looking at this one pair of only one pair of opposite sides will be parallel, like this. This is opposite and this pair is parallel. Okay, by this sign you could realize. So let's start solving. So let's practice with let's see, I'm explaining this one. I'll be explaining you this one, this three. This is our page number 19 in your packet, page number 19. Okay, so we can see that one pair is parallel. So what it is, that's a trapezoid. But if you look at it, non-parallel sides, they are not congruent. This is like this is like this. So they are not congruent. So they are non-isosceles. Okay, so I need to find what? Measure of K. So what it is? How can I do that? I can easily do that by telling that the what that consecutive angles are supplementary. Who are consecutive? Among these parallel side, the interiors. Okay, so supplementary, if it is supplementary, so you can get K by subtracting 51. Am I right? So how much it is? 129 probably. Okay, now again look at M. Okay, so again these two should be supplementary. Okay, and so this guy should be 180. How much? It should be 180 minus again uh 87. That's these two. So 87. So how much? 80 is gone. 100. So 93 degree. All right. If we look at this number three, so what we should be doing? Let us keep it like this. Okay. If you look at it, first identify who are your parallel. This is parallel. So consecutive angles are these two. So what does the consecutive angles do? They are supplementary. All right. They are supplementary. So what does it mean? These two should be, ask yourself and find the answer. These two angles should add up to 180 degree. So once you add them, this 8x plus 6 plus 54, you get 180. So now solve for x. They wanted only x, so we should be done with that. So apples with apples. So 8x plus 60, 180. So we subtract 60, subtract 60. So how much do we get? We get 8x gone. So 120. So if you divide by 8, how much you get? You get x equals 8 ones are ones, 4 remains, and 15. So our x should be 15. All right. And now let's go with number 5. So that's a different one. So what do we find? That this is DFG, DEFG. So this guy is a isosceles trapezoid. Okay, so if it is isosceles, this non-parallel. So what is the properties? Non-parallel sides are congruent. So this guy should be congruent to this. Label them. And now, if you look at it, what they ask for, DG is congruent to what? So DG is congruent to what? Obviously EF. So you say EF. And DF? DF. Okay. So what do you see? Who is DF? What it is? It is connecting the two opposite vertex in a quadrilateral. Okay. Obviously, this is a special type of quadrilateral, that is trapezoid. So this is the diagonal. Okay. And this diagonal is TF. So if you look at the properties, you see diagonals are congruent. So this diagonals, so where the other one, this is D, so it should be congruent to D. Am I right? So basically I wanted to show you that how to find out the missing angle and the congruent sides. So let's now practice some isosceles trapezoid and non-isosceles trapezoid. So let's see, still we are on the page 19, and let me erase them so it becomes clear. So try, pause the video and try with number 2. Okay. Okay, so if you look at this figure, obviously these parallel to sides, and what they said, measure of C. So we see this guy. And now what you can say, uh, since if you look at the non-parallel sides, they're not congruent, so you are sure that is a non-isosceles. So the only properties for the missing angles that you can do is consecutive angles. So what are the consecutive angles in between these two parallel? So if you want to find out C, obviously we want to find out this guy. So that's our X. So non-parallel, this consecutive 31, and this are supplementary. So once you subtract 31, you should be getting it. So find it out, calculate. All right. And if you look at the other question, what they ask, the questions ask us a D, so that is the one. And again, these are the parallel in between that, so that should be supplementary to 62. So 180 minus 62, find out what it is. All right. And now try with number 4. This is still, if you look at it, you see non-parallel sides. This is like this is the other way. Okay, so they are not congruent. So I need to solve for R. So what is R? This angle. So what I need to get X. So what should I do? I should look for if I can find and form any equation. So what equation you can form up? If you look at this, only thing, this is a non-isosceles, so try to find out the consecutive angles. So consecutive angles is within these two parallel sides. So these are transversal. So obviously this guy goes with this. Okay. So let's erase everything and see this guy is 12x plus 3, and this guy is plus 7x minus 13. All right, so that should give you 180 degree. So now solve for x, plug in your x in this equation. I mean, find 7x minus 13. That's your measure of R. Am I right? So you should be getting it. Solve it by yourself and see what you can come up with. And then I would like to give you a practice on this number 8, okay? Because that's finding out the missing angles from it. If you look at the non-parallel sides are congruent, am I right? So that's a isosceles triangle, okay? So we can use any of these properties. It's still on our page 19, okay? So let's see what we need to find. We need to find that measure of W. Okay, so where is W? This is W, all right? So what you can see, if you see that base angles are congruent, who are the base angles? Opposite to the congruent side. So this guy and this guy. Congruent means W should be how much? This value. So that should be 47. And if you look at Y, you will see that your Y is this angle. So what you can do, still you can use the consecutive one because they are parallel side in between. Supplementary, you can use that, or you can use this also. Opposite angles are supplementary, so you can see this opposite to this, so that one you have determined as 47, so it's still the same thing. You can say 180 minus 47, calculate how much. And then if you look at the other question, that there's a measure of z, so z is here, okay? So you can still find it out. Opposite are supplementary, opposite are sub. So what you can notice, if you are smart enough, you by this time you have understood that since the opposites are supplementary and the base angles are congruent, so these two guys should be congruent. That is the formula you can deduce by yourself, okay? So if it's a isosceles, they should be congruent, okay? Now you can straight away tell if this guy is how much you have calculated. That is 3 and then 1 5, so 133. You can straight away say it's 133, or if you can't see it, you can tell that this guy opposites are congruent, supplementary. So you can say 180 minus 47, 133. You can get that. So that is 133. Either way you can go there. All right. So your homework should be from page number, go to page 23 from your packet, okay? 23. So if you move on to page 23, you will see these problems are there, okay? I wish, let me find it out for you. Okay, so I think that's here, all right? No, I want it. Yes, this is your in your packet, page 23. Okay, so unit 7, polygon quadrilateral, homework 6, trapezoid. So do number 1, 3, 6, 5, 1, 1, 3, 5, 6, and 7. All right. So this is page 23, 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. That's your homework submission by Monday, 8:30 a.m. That's it. So enjoy your weekend and see you on Monday. Thank you very much.